Right. Hi guys again. I think it's about time. I put it off for about 2 weeks to talk about Tom Brady and leaving the Patriots. Now, this is not going to be a video centered around Tom Brady or his future endeavors in Tampa Bay. This is more so based on what I think my team, obviously, if you've been watching up until this point, is doing in Patriots. And for the first time in my lifetime watching football, which is since about 2004, around the third Super Bowl, for the first time about 2 decades that the Patriots have been in a situation where we don't know what we're doing at quarterback.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Ball appearances, like we're so used to winning, and now we're in a situation where we don't know where we're supposed to go. It's now the case finally came up of, do you keep Bill or do you keep Brady? And apparently Brady, in an article I read today, as of now when I'm recording this, said he knew at the beginning of the 2019-2020 season that it would be his final year, and that was before the struggles with on the offensive side of the ball. This is when he had Antonio Brown and all these guys to start off the season. So it's crazy to even think that he knew that. But he could just be saying that, but I don't think he'd be lying about it. So obviously he's gone to Tampa Bay down south for, at the moment it's 2 years, 50 million. So that he's 43, he'd be 45 when he retires. That's roughly when he said he was planning to retire, was 45. So obviously I'm wearing a Tom Brady jersey. I've only ever had Brady's jerseys. I've had Lawrence Maroney. Like when it comes to the Patriots, Teddy Bruschi, it's been Brady. Brady's been the Patriots. He's been, oh God, it's hard to even speak that he's gone. It's hard to even imagine that he's gone. But obviously it happened. It's come, it's gone. He's going down to Tampa with weapons that he's Cameron Brate. He has Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, OJ Howard. Like he's Bruce Arians, a quarterback who's worked with Peyton Manning, who's worked with Ben Roethlisberger. Like it's just, he's set up to destroy the league once again. He could be MVP next year. I'd like to see the odds in it. But anyway, I have kind of 4 things that could be happening for the Patriots, I think, are the options they have at the moment. And obviously the first one is, because I don't, but Brian Hoyer I'm leaving out of it. I think Brian Hoyer is there to either just help out or push Jared Stidham, or if we draft a quarterback, push them and help them. I don't think he expects to have a starting spot next season. He might do. He might get in a few games or when one of the young guys is struggling, but he's not our future. He's barely even our now, for me anyway. First point would be building around Jared Stidham. Jared Stidham was a 4th round draft pick last season. He came in, did reasonably well in preseason, the 2 or 3 games he was there, and I think he brings. I don't think if he starts, I don't see the likes of Bill Belichick or Josh McDaniels letting him start if they don't see something in him, because they've seen him all last season. They obviously saw something in college, then they saw what he did during the season in like first team reps and stuff during the season. Even getting in that one game where he threw a pick, he got a few snaps in games where we were just demolishing people to start the season, which is thanks to our defense, but that's beyond the point. And like he has something Brady never had, which is a bit of, he's not very fast, but he's definitely willing to run, and he's a decent head on him when it comes to rushing the ball or getting outside the pocket. But he's genuinely has a good pocket presence. He's like a Brady, obviously not like a Brady, but in the sense of he allows the play to develop. He's not panicking to get the ball if he senses pressure on an offensive line that struggled a lot last year. Even though I think it's going to be better this year with hopefully a healthy Isaiah Wynn. We obviously, David Andrews will be back. We franchise tag Joe Thuney, but then the other side of the ball, on the other side, right guard and right tackle with Marcus Cannon isn't great, and Shaq Mason, they were not good last year whatsoever. But Jared Stidham has good footwork. He knows, has a confidence to him inside there, but I think besides all of that, I think obviously he's mobile, which I think is something that would be fun to see Josh McDaniels work with next season, because he's never worked with that with the likes of Brady. So I think that's a big part, and working on, like, this is still a group of coaches that brought up Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett, 2 starting quarterbacks. One brought a team to a Super Bowl. So it's like, I'm excited about that, but more thing I'm most excited about is that last season, apparently the big issue with obviously our wide receivers, N'Keal Harry came in later on, the whole Antonio Brown situation, bringing Mohamed Sanu, like there was never a core. And apparently Brady wasn't willing to put trust in the likes of Jacoby Myers or Olszewski, who I like a lot. I think he's a very kind of Edelman bravado about him. So I'm hoping he can develop in this. Maybe it's hard to be because for me and for all Patriots fans, I think Edelman is one of our all-time favorites because he's a guy who die for the team any day of the week. He still would. He's still one of the best slot receivers in the league. He's a heart of a lion, really. So I like Olszewski behind him. But then there's N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers. And the big thing about Jared Stidham is he's young. I think he would have bonded with these guys last year because of the same rookie class. I think that's a big factor was, like I was going back to the point I was trying to get to, was that Brady didn't trust him, that he only went to Mohamed Sanu and he only went to Julian Edelman because he trusted the older veterans. While N'Keal Harry wasn't healthy last season, I think has legitimate number one receiver talents and ability, which I think a healthy season would really show that for us. And then Jacoby Myers showed a lot of promise. And it's like, I think if you have those three guys, Olszewski is a big project. I think he might just be a special teams guy, but either way, he'll be there. You have N'Keal Harry, who I think could be a number one receiver for a number of years, and Jacoby Myers. And I think you could draft guys like Denzel Mims, Jalen Reagor, Laviska Shenault late on, even in that 23rd pick in the first round. But like they have so many other picks, and the wide receiver group in the draft this year is so stacked that you can go down to probably down to round 3 or 4, because I don't think the Patriots have a second round pick, where you can still get a decent number 2 or 3 guy down there. And then you obviously have Sony Michel, who's a workhorse of running back. He has speed, strength. I think James White is getting older, Rex Burkhead is getting older, so I think Sony Michel is definitely going to get 15 to 20 attempts a game. If he does, if that's the way they're going to go, I think he's going to. It's Billy. I think Sony Michel should be the guy they at least keep on for. He's going to be there for another 2 or 3 years at least to work out his rookie contract, but I think he's definitely a guy. So I think Jared Stidham, it's fair. I think it's off season this year is going to be very weird because of the whole pandemic situation at the moment, and it'll be interesting to see what they think of Jared Stidham, because I would rather. I know obviously so many people saying yes Jared Stidham, no Jared Stidham, yes Jared Stidham. I'm going to wait for because I don't know if I trust him to be a starting quarterback yet, especially for the Patriots coming off what we've had the last 20 years. So it's like I have to wait to see what if Belichick starts him, or if Belichick doesn't even draft. If he doesn't draft a quarterback, I think that kind of tells you Jared Stidham is, obviously there's something they see in Jared Stidham, because Bill Belichick's not going to, especially with Tom Brady gone, he's not going to make the team worse just to get Jared Stidham in, because he wants to compete with Brady and the Bucs now, because he wants to prove that he was the guy who's basically responsible for all these years of dominance. So I think Jared Stidham is a very 50-50 guy. I think he's looked good. I've liked what I've seen of him, but obviously we've seen very little of him. And then my next option, I think these are the two most viable options. They're probably the best options of what they will and what they actually will do, is draft a quarterback with their 23rd pick, because Jordan Love, there's so many weird opinions going around about him. Like they say he's the ceiling of a Pat Mahomes and a floor of Jake Locker. Like he's just so high risk, high reward, or like a complete downfall. Like he went from, not like last season, he's 17 turnovers last year, only 20 touchdowns for Utah State, and that's not good. So that's obvious. But the year before that, he had 32 touchdowns, only 6 picks. Like he's had such a remarkably bad year last year compared to the year before. Everyone's like, whoa, what are we supposed to do with this? But when you watch him, he has a huge arm. He has he's mobile in the sense of the way Patrick Mahomes is. Like he's getting the comparisons to Patrick Mahomes because of that, because he's not like a Lamar Jackson kind of quarterback or Kyler Murray who wants to get outside the pocket, but he can get outside the pocket and throw crossbody passes and still be somewhat accurate. So I think that's a big thing. Like, do the Patriots take a risk and say we can get that Patrick Mahomes ceiling out of Jordan Love, or you could get a guy who I think I'd love to see Jordan Love, because I think he's such a different quarterback to what the Patriots I've ever seen in my lifetime they've ever had. Because even with Jimmy G and Jacoby Brissett when they're not mobile quarterbacks. Jacoby Brissett move when he needs to, but kind of the sense of way Ben Roethlisberger used to move, where it's like I can get out of this situation, but I don't want to. This is not going to be my go-to, or it's not one of my forte moves, that kind of way. It's like I think Jake Fromm would be a very safe guy for them to get, but he could fall to the second round because I think Jordan Love is the guy I think they would draft if they're going to draft a quarterback. Because I think Bill wants a project. He wants to show I can build this guy up to what people think he could be, not what they're afraid of what he could be. So I think he's a big thing. But Jake Fromm is like he hasn't had a bad season in college with Georgia. He hasn't had a bad season whatsoever, and he's a very X's and O guy. Like everyone says, he's very high IQ. He does not turn the ball over very often. So I think if not Jordan Love, I think Jake Fromm would be the other quarterback to go at because obviously the guy's like Tua, and unless something remarkable happens with this whole injury situation with Tua and the fact no one can get real medicals from him, like if he falls that low, do the Patriots take him? But realistically, he's not going to fall that low. He's going to be top 10 at least, more than likely. So I think it's Jordan Love and Jake Fromm are two guys. I'd love to see Jake Fromm be the safer pick. I don't think he like I like Jake Fromm a lot. I watched a lot of Georgia football last season, the last 2 or 3 seasons, and I've enjoyed watching him because he's so by the book. He's not like a Rodgers, or by saying that I mean the mentality of he can work outside the playbook. Like if it's either the play works or play doesn't work, which would fit a prototypical quarterback for Bill the way it's been going because Jimmy G, Jacoby, Matt Castle even, and obviously Brady. So I think Jordan Love's who I'd rather, but Jake Fromm would be a safer one for a while because he's a low risk pocket passer. He's kind of where you want him. So I think they're the two guys that low. And then the next two options were like as I'm going down, it's the less likely options for me, I think anyway. So it kind of goes Stidham first is who I think they're gonna go with. And then second is either draft Jordan Love or Jake Fromm. If Jordan Love falls that low and Jake Fromm, if they want to risk if they don't want to miss out on a quarterback in the draft because once you get down, because like I said, I don't think they have a second round pick, so they're going to fall away from quarterback options. I think the next one, which I would love just because I love this guy and for his entire career, I enjoyed watching him, and I feel like the way his career has been handled the last couple of years is ridiculous. Is he's still a free agent? Is Cam Newton? Now Cam is well up in years at this stage of his career. He's not the quarterback he was. For me, I think, and a lot of people, I think drafting Cam is just out of love for Cam, really. Just trying to get him into a good situation where he might win a ring. As a Patriots fan, I would rather get a move on what we're going towards because I'm ready for the team to struggle, but it might not because Bill's there. But I want to have, God forbid, Bill wants to pack it in anytime soon, a quarterback that's I think can go for the future. And Cam is not that guy. As much as I love him, and I think I didn't for next season. If we signed a 1 year deal, I think I'm okay with it. And if we draft Jordan Love behind him, maybe just so he can learn from him, I don't know, to get that bravado in the locker room. I don't know if that would work. But for Cam, for me, and for having Cam Newton, I love seeing him in the Patriots uniform. But that's completely fan bias. That's not. I don't think it's realistic. Plus, I think he clashed a lot with Bill when it comes to football wise and opinions on how it should be played and locker rooms. Like the Patriots are very by the book, and like we changed Randy Moss's approach, we changed Corey Dillon's approach. Can you change his approach? It's a very weird situation. So I think this would be the third best option out of what I've mentioned so far would be Cam Newton. And the last, which is definitely the least likely, but I've seen it mentioned, and arguably the best two kind of quarterbacks for next year's draft as of this season are probably Justin Fields from Ohio State and Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. And could they tank for Trevor Lawrence for next season? It's possible, and people think that re-signing Brian Hoyer this year was to put him at quarterback so that we could win maybe 3-4 games just because the defense, even though our defense is going to struggle a lot next year if we don't draft someone decent, because obviously our DBs, you have the McCourty twins, you have JC Jackson, Obi Melanfanu, Jonathan Jones, Stephon Gilmore. There's still guys back there, but you've lost Jamie Collins, you've lost Kyle Van Noy, you've lost Harmon. Like you've lost guys there, really key guys, and I don't like the look of the front seven whatsoever. Bar Chase Winovich, who I adore from the draft, I adore him in Michigan, and I think he's going to be a stud. I think he's going to be I automatically was about to compare him to Clay Matthews just because of hair and blonde hair and long hair, but he has that kind of potential where I think Bill can really get him he was a very pass rush heavy guy in college, but I think Bill could get him. I'm going very off topic here. We're talking about quarterbacks. Anyway, I love Chase Winovich. So I think that people are saying that we might tank for Trevor Lawrence because signing Brian Hoyer might get us 3 or 4 wins next season out of a luck and out of a bad. And even the AFC East has gotten a lot better, after, even though especially with us losing Tom Brady, so we're nearly at the bottom of the pile. Bar Miami's still a bit of a mess. So we could be tanky for Trevor Lawrence. I don't believe Bill or Robert Kraft would want to tank at any stage. So it's like Patriots are always going to struggle when it comes to drafts because we're never going to have. We might have a top 10 pick next season, we might not, but that's definitely the least likely one. So I think it goes. For me, I think the ranking of options what we're going to do next season are build around Jared Stidham, which I think I'd love just because I'd like it, but again, I don't know. Then you could draft the likes of Jordan Love or Jake Fromm in the 23rd in the first round, or unless we try to climb up to get a Herbert, very unlikely, or a Tua, very unlikely to try and go up the draft. We don't have a lot to give anyway. Well, we have a lot of picks later, but I don't think we have enough to entice teams like Miami. So obviously that's my second option. And then there's signing Cam Newton if he's still a free agent. The draft's in 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, or tanking for Trevor Lawrence. So that's kind of the 4 options I have personally for it. But my biggest point I want to make, and it's one, when the whole thing happened, when Brady signed Tampa, I think like every Patriots fan, I was down and I didn't know what way our team was going because obviously we've been spoiled, especially being from Boston. You wouldn't know my Irish accent being from Boston. So used to having a winning culture and being in a winning culture, following the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Bruins, the whole lot. Like it's just, you're used to a winning culture. The Patriots, like since 2001, it's been a ridiculous amount of silverware has come to the city. But I think the biggest thing what I've had to come to terms with, I think Patriots need to come to terms with, like, it's not going to be a seamless transition. If it is, it's a miracle. It's a seamless transition, and guys like Jared Stidham or whoever we draft is be like out of this world that happens, like win the lotto. It's not going to be a seamless transition to getting a franchise quarterback. It's not. So I think we have to prepare for struggles. I'm prepared for struggles, and it's going to be a weird state because obviously being Patriots fans, every week we're expecting to win and expecting if we lose, it's like, or even if we're down in a game, we're kind of like, look back at the Atlanta Super Bowl. We were down 28-3 and came back and won. You always have this inkling in your head like, oh, we're going to win anyway. It's not that big of a deal. But now without Tom, it's definitely going to be a weird feeling. I never thought, well, obviously I thought what happened a couple of years ago with Jimmy Garoppolo and those guys there. But I really felt like Tom was going to finish with us. And I understand why he left, as much as I hate that he left. He has to go on off and do something, try different things, and set different goals for himself, I guess, at the age of 45. So I understand it, but it's definitely going to be a weird situation of like, we're going to be, first of all, we're going to be attacked all season by other fans from other teams because they're going to adore us struggling and not knowing what's going on because we've been in the playoffs for how many years? We've won the AFC East like what, 11, 12, 13 times in a row. Like it's uncharted waters we're going in. Like there's never been a franchise run like this in the history of sports. So I guess people are going to love and celebrate the fact that we might be on a downfall. So yeah, I think that's basically the whole situation. And I'm excited for the 2020 season, but that's probably because of the whole situation at the moment and having no sports. We should be going to the NBA final playoffs soon. We should be going to the Stanley Cup playoffs soon. Baseball should be on, and I'm absolutely losing my mind. I've watched I don't know how many classic games. I think just of today I watched the Game 6 from the 2003 NBA Finals. The other night I watched the 2011 Super Bowl. Like I am losing my shit. So I'm praying. I think that might be why I'm so okay with the 2020 season for the Patriots, is because I need something to look forward to. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I would appreciate no Patriots hate in the comment section, please. But if you enjoyed this, let me know. Leave us a like, subscribe, stick around. We actually got a couple of subscribers recently, and it feels amazing because we just love what we're doing. No matter views or subscribers or anything, it's just fun to actually talk about this stuff. So thank you for watching, and anytime you gave to this, and share it with your friends, and follow us on Twitter, being the link anyway. So thank you very much, and peace out.